Welcome back to CBS Sports HQ. 36 holes complete at the Genesis Scottish Open in North Berwick, Scotland. And it is Ludvig Åberg, top of the leaderboard. He is at 12 under par. He has shot 2 rounds of 64. He has a 1-shot lead on Antoine Rosner and a 2-shot lead on Sungjae Im and Matteo Manassero, who had one of the low rounds of the day. He went 7 under par on the day. And then you have a group of golfers sitting at 9 under par. That group including Rory McIlroy, the defending champion. Let's welcome in golf analyst Doug Bell for more on what we saw in round 2. Doug, let's start at the top with Ludvig Åberg. 2 straight rounds of 64. Yesterday, he hits Morikawa's ball on approach. Today, he put himself in some spots of bother, but they don't. I mean, nothing bothers this kid, Doug. We've been talking about his potential for weeks. So what challenges lie ahead for him as he tries to claim that maiden PGA Tour title?
Well, Jeremy, first off, first time he's played in about a month. He played the U.S. Open, the Travelers. He's been off since, so his batteries are fully charged, and he's in a place in Scotland where they love the kid after what he did on the Ryder Cup. So he's getting a lot of support from the big crowds, and right now his game is perfect. Leading the field, greens hit in regulation, 87%, which means he's giving himself a birdie putt on almost every single hole. You mentioned the first day, it was a 64, but he had a couple of blemishes, no blemishes on the card today. I think he's in really good stead. Again, this golf course right now with the weather conditions is just so gettable. And for a player who hits it as long as he does off the tee, and then when you lead the field, greens hit in regulation, look at that shot. It's adding up to something special. But as I always warn you, there's 36 holes to go. But I'm sure he feels pretty good about where he sits right now.
Yeah, and a lot of the things on the card, too. I mean, places where he had kind of missteps on Thursday, he corrected that on Friday, which is certainly something that's positive as he heads into the weekend. Coming into the day, top 4 or better in 3 of his last 4 starts after 18 holes, and managed to play a very good round of 64 on Friday. Sungjae Im shoots a 63 on Thursday, cards a 67 on Friday, as he is a couple shots back. His first ever under par rounds at the Renaissance Club. Doug, what do you make of Sungjae Im? His game looks to be in a good spot as he heads into Saturday.
Jeremy, you're spot on. In fact, if you're looking for somebody to sprinkle a little magic dust on, look at the odds of Sungjae Im. He's had an interesting year. He's missed the cut in the first 3 major championships, and yet for the regular PGA Tour events, he's done very, very well. Right now, top 30 in the FedEx Cup points. Last 5 starts, 3 top 5s, a top 10. The last week at the John Deere, a tie for 12. Sungjae Im is putting better now than he has in a couple of years. He's not mentioned among the big names, but we know how good he is. And I'm just telling you, you look at that leaderboard, you kind of scan over Sungjae. Nope, stop on Sungjae. He might be a good bet heading into the weekend. And the bottom line is, like all these guys, he's discovered something on the greens, and we'll see what happens this weekend. And again, favorable conditions. These aren't sizzling fast greens. They're the speed that Sungjae Im loves very, very much.
Yeah, you saw him get the bogey on 1, but then bounces back with 4 birdies and finishes 3 under for the day. He missed the last 2 previous appearances, missed the cut, pardon me, at the last 2 previous appearances at the Scottish Open, so he's looking good heading into Saturday. Let's talk about Rory McIlroy, the defending champion. Started with 4 birdies in his first 10 holes, then bogeyed, but then got back that. He missed a sitter late in the round that would have gotten him to within a couple of shots of the lead. Ends with a 4 under 66. Doug, have you seen enough through 36 holes to say that Rory has shaken off what happened at the U.S. Open?
Yes, capital Y-E-S, yes. Keep in mind now, Jeremy, listen, despite all that's gone on off the course with Rory, a lot's been written. He won the Wells Fargo impressive fashion, almost won the U.S. Open, as you said. He's still hitting the ball fantastic off the tee and with the irons. You mentioned today he birdies 13, which was kind of a bounce back. He dropped his shot at 11, missed a short one at 14, and then cannot manage a birdie the rest of the way. And afterwards told the media corps, yeah, it could have been 1 or 2 better, but at the same time, he feels good about where he is. And he knows those may fall this weekend. The bottom line is this. He loves playing at North Berwick, the Renaissance Club. It's one of his favorite golf courses in the world. It sets up perfectly for his long game. Won last year and knocked on the door to win again. So Rory answered all the questions to the media when he got there this week about the U.S. Open, about his caddy, Harry Diamond, all the extracurricular stuff. And he's letting his clubs do the talking, Jeremy. And when he lets the clubs do the talking, it usually works pretty well for him.
Yeah, and you see just the one blemish on the card, the square at 11. But as Doug mentioned, got that back on 13. As you take a look at the leaderboard, want to mention a name that's in that group at 9 under, just above Rory, Alejandro Del Reay. A new name for many of us. He's playing in his third PGA event. Shot a 69 on Thursday, fired off 6 straight birdies to start the day Friday. He shot up 85 places into the top 5, carding a 62 Friday, low round of the day. Is this a name you're watching this weekend, Doug?
Absolutely. He went to the States to play at Arizona State after fellow countryman John Rahm, then made his way back to Europe, where he played on what is the European Corn Ferry Tour 2021, once parted a 58 on a par 72. That's the lowest round, 14 under in a professional event. Remember, Jim Furyk had his 58 on a par 70 at the Travelers. So this kid can go low. You mentioned the 6 straight birdies. He's a flamboyant Spaniard. Where have we heard that before? And as you mentioned, if he wins, his life changes. He's on the PGA Tour, 2-year exemption, gets to go to the Masters. A lot on the line for this young guy. And wouldn't shock me. Nobody's heard about him in the States unless you rooted for Arizona State, something like that. But he's capable, Jeremy. He is capable. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on him over the course of the weekend. Well, he had a good day. One guy who didn't have a good day was the guy who was the leader coming in, Justin Thomas. Watched his game fall off a Scottish cliff on Friday. A 10-stroke difference between rounds 1 and round 2. Doug, what happened to JT on Friday?
Jeremy, amazing when you consider Justin Thomas has not won since the summer of 2022 when he won the PGA Championship. What the heck is going on? Well, today was kind of a microcosm of what's been going on over the last 2 years. Yesterday, it was like, oh my goodness, there's JT. He's discovered whatever was ailing him. But today, bad driving, inaccurate iron play, and the putter just did not cooperate. It was heartbreaking to watch. And again, for Justin Thomas, the putter has been so bad, it has infiltrated the rest of his game. And if you look at the leaderboard, you've been showing it, Jeremy, he's about the only guy over par. So he needs to bounce back tomorrow in a big way. I know he is very, very disappointed in the way he played in round number 2.
Yeah, we were looking at some of the numbers there, and there's, over 60 players that shot in the 60s on Friday, and Thomas certainly not one of those. Hometown favorite Bobby Mack, Robert McIntyre, he's in the mix. He shot 65 on Friday. He's at 8 under with 7 others. Bogey-free round for him. How do you like where his game is at as a hometown favorite as we head to moving day?
Hey, it's not often in golf that you celebrate and enjoy a home crowd atmosphere, right? Maybe like on the football field or the soccer field or something like that, but he's got it. I mean, the crowd was hinging on every putt. Unfortunately for him, the last 4 or 5 holes, they didn't fall. It was up and they were deflated, but they're rooting for this kid. He would love to win in Scotland. He's one of the only guys sleeping in his own bed this week, as the old cliche goes. He's staying at home. So a win either this week or next week for Robert McIntyre, who won the RBC Canadian. This would be a huge deal for him. So we'll see what happens. Usually, though, ask Colin Montgomery. It's tough to win in your home country. Colin could never win in Scotland. And Robert McIntyre tried to do something that the great Colin Montgomery couldn't get done either.
Yeah, they'll have the hometown crowd behind him this weekend. Well, the cut line sitting at 3 under. Names like Hoagie, Straka, Matsuyama, and Spieth all going sightseeing this weekend because they won't be golfing. At least they won't be golfing here. For Spieth, Doug, it's his 6th missed cut this season. 2024, not one of the better years on his resume.
Yeah, his game is if you look at the stats, Jeremy, it's gone down each and every year over the last 5 years. And coming into this week was 118th in putting on the PGA Tour. The great Jordan Spieth, it's crazy to think that he's 118. And on the President's Cup list, he's 24th. Remember, there's 6 auto picks, 6 captain's picks. He is 24th. Likely not going to be a captain's pick for the President's Cup. It's just one of those things. He was incredible in 2015. Life has changed. He has a couple of babies. He's made generational wealth with all these business deals. A lot of things take away from your game. And right now, Jordan Spieth is just, well, He's just not the same Jordan Spieth we have grown to love. He's still playing hard, still practicing. Not the same player, as evidenced by his performance, not just this week, but over the course of the last couple of months on the PGA Tour.
Yeah, just 3 top 10 finishes so far this season. Thanks to our golf analyst, Doug Bell, recapping round 2 of the Scottish Open for us here on HQ. Thank you very much, Doug. And, of course, now we move on to Saturday, moving day, Sunday, final round. And we'll, of course, have full coverage, as usual, as you expect, on CBS. Our coverage getting underway earlier, though, because of the fact we are overseas. So it's noon Eastern time on CBS. Third and final round coverage Saturday and Sunday. Streaming, as always, over on Paramount+.